We're very pleased that we've been able to give all elderly care home residents, virtually all elderly care home residents have now been given their first jab or a slot for their first jab, and that's very important for getting the spread of the virus down, getting the serious illness and the fatality down. We must make sure that we go forward with the second jab for everybody as well. A few have already had the second jab, as you know, but everybody will get one within 12 weeks of their first jab. And we're confident that we have the supplies to do that, and people are coming forward at exactly the right rate at the moment.
Does it appear as though these latest lockdown measures are working, and are you confident that hospital admissions are starting to fall now?
We're starting to see some signs of a flattening and maybe even a falling off of infection rates and hospitalizations, but don't forget that they're still at a very high level by comparison with most points in the last 12 months, a really very high level. And so the risk is that if you take your foot off the throat of the beast, as it were, if you allow things to get out of control again, then you could, alas, see the disease spreading again fast before we've got enough vaccines into people's arms. That's the risk.
Some of the new vaccines that showed results late last week were shown to be slightly less effective against the South African variant. Are you concerned that variant could undo all the hard work that we've seen through this latest lockdown?
We're confident that all the vaccines that we're using provide a high degree of immunity and protection against all variants. And the interesting and exciting thing about UK vaccinology at the moment, the vaccines that we're developing, is increasingly they are capable of being adapted to deal with new variants as they arise. The fact is, we're going to be living with COVID for a while to come in one way or another. I don't think it will be as bad as the last 12 months, anything like, of course, but it's very, very important that our vaccines continue to develop and to adapt, and they will.
We're hearing that AstraZeneca will be providing some extra vaccines to the EU. Are you nervous that there might be another row with the EU when it comes to vaccine supplies?
We're very confident of our supplies and the supply chains that we have, and very, very pleased with the vaccines that we've got. But I want to stress that providing vaccines, inventing vaccines, is an international effort. These are done by scientists working together across borders, and the UK is one of the leading, if not the leading country in advocating cross-border cooperation. So we're the second biggest funder for the whole COVAX initiative, which is designed to spread vaccines around the world. We helped to raise $8.8 billion only a few months ago for vaccines across the world. One of the great things about the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine is that it is distributed at cost, so it's capable of benefiting literally hundreds of millions, if not billions, of people around the world.
Captain Tom Moore in hospital with coronavirus. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I spoke to the family last night, and all I can say is Captain Tom Moore has been an inspiration to everybody in this country during this pandemic, and I think our thoughts and our prayers are now with him and with his family.
We've got some regional questions now. We've seen the pandemic disproportionately impact people here in Yorkshire. Last week we visited a food bank in Hull. Last year they were having around 60 to 100 visits per week. They've now got 6,000 visits per week. Similar economic impact in Bradford as well. What can you do to ensure that these towns and cities don't get even further left behind because of this pandemic?
There's no question that the pandemic has disproportionately hit some areas and some communities and places that have been effectively in lockdown for many, many months. And so it's inspiring to come here to the Al Hikma Centre in Batley and see the work that volunteers are doing to distribute food, parcels to help people throughout the community. And we in government are going to continue our work to support that, whether through supporting local government as we do, about 4.6 billion gone into local government already, but also supporting good local charities in what they're doing. It is going to take a while for our country to bounce back completely from COVID. There are all sorts of things that need to change and to get better. The economy, I think, can bounce back very, very strongly. The UK has immense natural resilience. But the thing that really concerns me at the moment is education and the deficit in our children's education that we've run up as a result of these lockdowns. And that is, for me, going to be one of the major priorities for us in the next few weeks and months, making sure that we remediate, that we repair the loss of time in the classroom, the loss of educational opportunities for millions of kids. That's a massive, it's a chance for us, by the way, to do some things better, and we're going to focus on that as well. We're looking particularly at one-to-one tutoring, the good that can do, and all sorts of other things. But you're absolutely right. It's areas across the country that have been hardest hit, that have been longest in lockdowns, that we're going to have to focus on particularly.